Today's episode of The Outer Roll is brought to you by GoalieMonkey. Next time you need any goalie equipment, head over to GoalieMonkey.com. Use the promo code PODCAST10, that's PODCAST, the number 10, 10, for 10% off your entire order. Some exclusions may apply. That is promo code PODCAST10 on GoalieMonkey.com, PODCAST, the number 10, 10, for 10% off your entire order. All right, let's get into it.
Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, welcome into the Outer Roll podcast on MonkeySports podcast, brought to you by GoalieMonkey. Great episode on tap for you today. We sat down with Warriors Kirk Allen to discuss the new G5 Warrior pads and pad line, the M1 stick, and the F1 Warrior Goalie helmet. Tons of exciting stuff coming from Warrior here in the next couple weeks. We had the opportunity to talk to Kirk about it. Got the opportunity to use it on ice. I've got Graisen here from GoalieMonkey, who was the one modeling the gear in some of our YouTube videos. Graisen, how are we doing?
I'm doing great today, yeah.
So we'll jump right into it, this Warrior stuff. We had the opportunity. Kirk, we've worked a lot with in the past. We got to get out on ice, shot a lot of video a couple weeks ago. What do you think of this stuff? First impressions.
So I've never really been in Warrior gear my entire life. I had touched it at a couple camps, got in it maybe twice, and this was before they kind of ironed out some of their little issues. It was like way back. Kirk talks about the pad that I first used, the G2. Used it for like one or two skates, and they've come a long way. And so the G5 is something that I think really any goaltender who hasn't ever seen Warrior or goalies who have been in Warrior for a long time should be very excited about. The stick is one of the only things that I've used from the older lines, the CR1, and it just gets better from there, The V1 Pro Plus from last year was fantastic, and this one's just a new beast. It's incredibly light, it's easy to hop into, and I think it's really a game changer along with the rest of their gear. The chest protector is fantastic. We don't really touch upon it too much because there wasn't a lot done to it, but the refinements are very key for comfortability, and the helmet, all brand new from Warrior, first of its kind. It's something everyone should really check out when given the chance.
So we had a little bit of a unique interview with Kirk. We kind of broke it up a little bit. We talked about a ton of stuff. I think we were in this podcast room for over an hour, about an hour and a half of an interview, which was fantastic. Kirk gave us so much insight about the technology that goes into it and the process and all this stuff that he's seen, which is very cool. So we actually cut up our interview a little bit. We have about half the interview that's really pad specific that we had filmed, and that's going to be up on our YouTube channel about the same time that this podcast is released. So if you're listening to this now, head over to GoalieMonkey on YouTube. You can check out videos that we created both in this podcast studio and on ice. But that is something I want to talk about. It's something that I think is so unique about our job and like the opportunity that we have doing this, not only getting to do a podcast and sell gear and stuff that we get to use ourselves as athletes, but the ability to kind of see that stuff before and do these video shoots and stuff like that, and how cool it was to, go up to the Allen Americans rink and use this gear and stuff. And that's something I kind of want to pull back the veil on about, like, why we can sit here and talk about this stuff that we know because, we're the ones getting out and using it.
Yeah.
Which I think is awesome and unique, and being able to showcase that on, our YouTube channel or through social media and stuff is something that we want to continue to do to give you, the consumer and the fan of MonkeySports, a better connection to us. But when doing that Warrior goalie video, what were some of like the things that stood out to you, both from the pad and from just the experience?
Yeah, it was definitely it was one of the first big projects I've had since coming here last year, and almost reaching a year now, where I've been able to kind of be on the back end of some things, but now the first big project I've actually been with a pad line, which is huge. It's like probably the biggest part of what I do. So I think it was cool to just, hear about a pad. Like, I think this project's been running since November? Like, we've been planning this, and it's just now coming out. Yeah. So it's been interesting to, hear about this gear so long ago, watch the production phase of it, watch them slowly tease it, and then finally be able to talk about it one day, So I think it was fun to get with Kirk. Kirk's a fantastic guy to do this with. And, he gave us any information we ever needed. He was polite enough to come down here and help us shoot these videos. And I had a blast with it. So I think it's really cool to be able to see the gear and understand it from a manufacturer's point of view, and then also from a consumer's point of view, because I'm trying to look at it from both ways. I'm thinking, if I was a customer, what do I want out of this pad, and what do I want to tell people? Like, what do they want to hear? What's gonna want you to get into this pad? And like I said, after being someone who hasn't been in Warrior, I hopped in these super quick out of the box. I opened the box, used them a couple days later, and it was just off and running. So I think it's really cool.
So I asked Kirk this question, and I know I asked Ev last month when we did a similar interview, but I'll ask you because I don't think we've ever talked about it.
Yeah.
Growing up, did you ever think this is what you were going to do as a full-time job? Just test out goalie product and make content surrounding the sport that you play and love?
Not really. In the last couple of years, I kind of was trying to push this way, and I remember asking people, people in that position, because I've been going to these camps and knowing the product managers of all these things, like Kirk and like Ev, when I was asking them how did you get to where you are? What did you do? Once I realized maybe I didn't want to keep playing for so long. So after my kind of my career ended, I was working with a pro stock guy for a while, and then I was around all this pro gear all the time, kind of feeling it out. And then I think from there it was just kind of how do I get myself to this next step? How do I get for a bigger company? And so from being a kid, I didn't really think I was going to be specifically in social media or with gear, but I always kind of knew I was going to be around hockey. And I guess this is just best case scenario. I've been having a great time. It's what I love, and I absolutely love sharing the content that I make.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a better answer than I have, really. I knew going into school, so I did journalism in school, and that just from doing newspaper and video and stuff throughout high school, it was okay, it makes enough sense to kind of continue to follow that career path. But even in college, it's man, I don't know if I want to go be a journalist. I don't know if I want to go to Sherman, Texas and work for 2 years, kind of in a place that I don't know, or a small, and work my way up. And I guess I kind of always knew content was the plan, but I never knew how. And then, obviously getting this opportunity to come work in lacrosse, which is, where I started before kind of moving up, but stay around the sport I love, make content, kind of have the keys to really do whatever we want is awesome. And that's something that through this podcast and through the videos we create, and, we're on TikTok now and stuff, we're trying to kind of showcase, we love what we do. We get this awesome opportunity to stay around sports and, talk to people that stay around sports, and it's a great opportunity. So we're happy to get to show you that. Maybe I diverted from the course a little bit.
But,
I think that's something cool, and especially you guys that are listening to the podcast and understand who we are as MonkeySports can see and hopefully appreciate that the opportunity that we have, and we hope that we're helping you guys make an informed buying decision as well as stay entertained and stay connected to the brand. But with that being said, we'll go into our interview with Kirk. I'll let you line it up.
Yeah, so we sat down with Kirk Allen from Warrior Goalie. He's the product manager there, and it's a very interesting conversation. Like we said on YouTube, there's the full version with a lot more information, but I think the podcast right now is a lot to start off with, so let's hop right into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Outer World Podcast, Episode 3. Today we're here with Kirk Allen from Warrior. How are you?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me.
We're also here with our host, Jason.
Kirk, good to see you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, just for the people who don't know you or are unfamiliar with you from Warrior, kind of what do you do for Warrior? What's your history? And then what do you do now?
So currently I am the product manager of the goalie equipment and sticks and now masks at Warrior Goalie. I started with Warrior about 7 years ago, and I've been a product manager for 4.5. When I started, I was in college. I was kind of doing a tech rep position, internship, and just trying to get my foot in the door, and became friends and coworkers with obviously the goalie guys, and was lucky enough to become part of their crew, and it's been no looking back ever since.
Yeah, awesome. As long as I've known Warrior from a standpoint of knowing who's behind the brand. You've been there the entire time.
Yeah, the pad line that I first joined Warrior with was the G2.
Okay.
So there was the Ritual one before that when Pete came on board, and it's been a fun ride with G3s and GTs, and now we're on to G5s.
Yeah. When you were growing up, did you think this is what you wanted to do? Work with goalie pads and stuff?
So I was definitely a rink rat, a full-time hockey player. Growing up from mini sticks to video games to playing, and then got into coaching. I played in the ACHA, and like I said, in college, I kind of realized from the ACHA it's pretty difficult to go the pro route.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to make a career out of the sport of hockey, specifically out of goaltending, it was going to be through a different avenue. Like many goalies, I have a strong passion for the equipment. I feel like it has a direct correlation to your performance, and then of course there's a lot of benefits to how you look. So I just kind of transferred that love for the position and coaching and playing and into the product, and now I'm into sales, marketing, you name it. So
yeah, what's been some of the most exciting moments coming up with Warrior, trying to grow this brand? What has been one of the most exciting pads that you've worked on and been able to see the development of?
I think each year when we come out with something new, I'm always excited because I know how much time and effort goes in on the back end from our product guys on what they do to deliver performance and innovation through the product. It's always exciting to see that new iteration come out and kind of release it to goalies who are wearing our product now in a current model, and just knowing what's coming of like, hey, it's that good, but it's about to be that much better, and I can't wait to share that. So I'm always excited around launch and seeing just the new stuff hit the shores.
You have a lot of exciting things coming up this year.
We do.
And then so kind of kicking that off, is there anything when you're developing this next year of gear, what were the focuses on all the new lines, and was there any specific main point that you wanted to drive home with this entire year?
I think it depends on the product. For G5, one of our big things that we're doing for G5 is the CoverEDGE Plus story. So that's all about understanding that in goaltending, from a positional aspect, 30 years ago, it was, get out of your crease, cut the angle down, challenge the shooter. And that's still relevant today, but a more modern way that goalie coaches and goalies are looking through things is through box control and, filling the net through, different vision lines of where the puck's trajectory is coming from. And we started to see the relevance and how much your equipment plays a factor in that as well. It's not just your depth in the blue paint, it's also is your equipment maximizing your coverage. And I think a lot of goalies assume that because a pad is 11 inches wide with a tape measure that it's maximum coverage, when that's not the same application to coverage that you're applying with your positioning. So it's really thinking not anything new or innovative per se about we're not the first people to ever think about cutting down an angle, but we just started to look at our products in G4 and what we've released before and how we can further advance the coverage of the product through bringing the face of it forward towards the puck. So CoverEDGE Plus is definitely one of our most exciting new things. It's changed quite a bit with the trapper and the blocker as well.
Yeah.
But mainly what a lot of people will notice is the outer roll and the leg pad.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I noticed. It was not a huge change, but it's noticeable from line to line.
Yep.
But it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the leg pad specifically, we've kind of been on this long quest of testing different things with the outer roll. If you look on our Instagram page, when we were launching the G4, we showed prototypes of leg pads that had no outer roll or outer roll at the top half and then completely cut off of the shin in the boot. And when we first started on that quest, it was more about trying to get a tighter seal to the post with wraparounds or RVH. And in doing so, we found in those testing pads that the outer roll still served a purpose from preventing pucks from skipping over the pad in in tight plays or hard shots from the back door. So we kind of set the height of that G4 outer roll to get you tighter to the post, but still have a little bit of stopping power there to prevent pucks from skipping over. And, once the G4 came out, we didn't just stop. We kept continuing to test new outer roll elements, and that kind of took us into CoverEDGE Plus, where we brought the outer roll further out, but then in turn also brought the face of the pad out so that there's still a reduced gap between the outer roll and the face so that no pucks are going to squeak through in tight wraparound plays.
Yeah, so for the average goaltender or someone like Jason who doesn't quite know, is this kind of a hard concept to bring to people, or is there a way that you can kind of word it that brings people to like an understanding of what you're trying to get at?
Yeah, and no, it's a very simple concept with geometry really, and thinking from the puck's perspective.
Yeah.
The same application of coverage that you apply to your depth in the net is also what we're now doing with the product that you put on your body. So before, I think goalies just thought of their depth as the main point of coverage, and then when it came to the pads and gloves, it was just about tape measures.
Yeah.
So we're just thinking about the same philosophy of cutting down angles with the product. And obviously the same tape measure rules apply as well. So CoverEDGE Plus is not illegal. It's still NHL spec because via a caliper measurement that the NHL would use is still the same regulated sizing of any other product. We just thought more logically about how could we bring the face of this gear forward towards the puck.
Was the NHL specification something that you guys kind of tailored the pad around?
No, I mean, we want to make our product NHL spec. It also applies to double IHF in a lot of ways, and we have a lot of elite European goalies who play in international tournaments and stuff. So we weren't setting out on a quest to make a non-legal pad, always making things within legal sizing.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, you kind of alluded to really both sides. How much of it is when you're testing a pad out, like putting it on ice, asking the goalie that's wearing it what they think, versus going in the back end and looking at the geometry and everything? Like, is it a pretty 50-50 split, or is it like we really want to know what the goalie's using it think versus what maybe the math says or what the design would look like?
It evolves based on the product and where we're at in the development process. I think we are a really tight-knit group, and we are very analytical of our products and what we have now and what goalies are saying online. I think me specifically, I live in a lot of Facebook groups and chat forums and Instagram pages, and I'm every day, all day, looking at what people are saying and responding to them if I feel like they need further explanation on something, or just taking that feedback in about something that they notice with the pad. If they wear it a specific way and it causes the pad to do this, we take that info in and try to apply it to a future product. So it starts there and listening to the consumer, and then I kind of filter that in with the product guys, and we talk about it, how we feel, and do we think that that's maybe just an isolated case, or is it something that would benefit a lot of goalies? Ultimately, if it's not going to benefit a goalie, we're probably not going to put it into the pad. So it kind of comes into a benefit of performance trade-off versus is this just I'd like it, but it doesn't make an effect on the performance. So and then we go on ice with samples and start to test the product ourselves. We're all goalies at Warrior Goalie, so we start there and then use some field testers as well and get some feedback there. Reach out to retailers and say, this is what we're working on. This is our philosophy behind it. Do you think that there's momentum there? And kind of pool it all together, and it's kind of a revolving wheel of development.
That kind of ties into a question I did have. When you are testing the pad on ice and during the development phases where it doesn't really have a name, it doesn't really have a look to it yet, kind of how did that all go for a pad with this kind of changes to it?
Just like any other, we had several different rounds of leg pads specifically, of trying different things to achieve the CoverEDGE Plus and how we wanted it to look and to perform.
So going into the leg pads specifically, I since we've already kind of talked about the outer roll design, wanted to ask a couple different questions about the new strapping, the little bit of changes to that, and then also to the outer gusset.
Yep. So couple of things that goalies will notice on the G5 pad. We made a pretty nice change to the leg channel. So what we've had on our pads for a while now is a 360 active drop leg channel, which is basically a leg channel that wraps around your leg completely. So it's not a leg channel where you'd want to choose a tight or a wide. The benefit of a tight leg channel is that you get the connectivity of it, but you do sacrifice mobility. With a wide leg channel, you get mobility, but you sacrifice connectivity. So we kind of looked at things a little bit different. Instead of having flat sidewalls with a flat piece against your shin, we sort of made this cylinder around your leg. So you get full feeling with the spaciousness of a wider leg channel.
Okay.
So that's the 360 active drop leg channel. And what we did this year is we added a dual fit option. So the calf wrap can now slide through the leg channel.
Yeah, we can show that.
Yeah. So the calf wrap in this pad, you can see, is going through the leg channel. So that way, for a goalie who does want a more snug fit, they can tighten it by bringing it through here. If they didn't want that, they could just simply slide this strap out and bring it around the outside to have more space for their leg. And just like on previous models as well, there are 2 straps inside here that allow you to make it tighter or looser there as well. So that's the new dual fit option. What I think a lot of goalies will like about it is, you see, it's pretty common for goalies to say, I want the pad to sit higher up on my leg, I want it to sit up on my skate. Bringing it through that opening definitely helps with that and getting the pad to sit up a little bit more. So whether you're looking for a tighter fit or you're just wanting to kind of prop the pad in a different way, that's a nice feature that'll allow you to do that. So
yeah, from my personal experience so far, what I've found is I like the tighter feel in my leg, just because I like that. And I know other goalies who really like a loose fit, and I feel like you can achieve that with this pad in both ways very quickly.
Right. And then on the knee strap, we have our Sling Wrap, which is a neoprene strap and a nylon strap. This is an option that you've always had on a Warrior pad, where you can take it around your knee or down to your calf. And if some goalies prefer it, they can take the nylon strap out and just use the neoprene. They are independent straps, so that's a nice feature there. One thing to definitely note on the G5, the ARS toe strap, active response elastic toe, is lengthened. So you're going to get a lot more play off the toe strap when the pads are brand new. Currently we offer XL straps as an accessory kit for any of our other pads. Now on this pad, it's going to be even a little bit longer than that XL strap. So immediate free range of motion alleviates a lot of the hip and knee and ankle strain that you might find.
So I'm curious, when you're designing pads, I mean, obviously there's so many different ways that people play goalie in different fits and how they like different things. Is it tough to try to make a pad that sort of fits everyone, or is it more like you guys are focusing on, the one aspect or the few aspects that you want to perfect versus making something that everyone can use?
It's definitely always on our mind to make things optional. And that kind of stems from a couple of years ago. We used to only have one pad line, and that was the G3. So we learned with those launches of G2 and G3, how do we make a pad that caters to everybody, not necessarily saying this is the pad, you have to use it, hope you like it. There was all these built-in options. So whether you use the ARS toe strap, or use a skate lace, or you use an aftermarket toe strap, or you want a leather heel strap, or you want to change the angle of it, everything is designed to be optional, really. And like I was saying, on the calf wrap now, you have 2 options to take it either around the leg channel or through the leg channel. Beneath that, you still have the options for more tension. On the knee strap, you have a lot as well, from not only from knee to calf, but you can make the nylon strap tighter or looser, take it off completely. Trying to think of everybody and making it so that if you want to change something on this product, you don't have to break out a pair of scissors and be afraid, that you're going to have to go ask somebody, hey, can you sew this back up for me? I goofed up. So that's kind of how we try to encompass a pad that would cater to all goalies.
You have the Chris Dudos of the world in mind that go out and constantly you're messing with.
Unfortunately, he's on my mind too much sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah, and then also one more thing on the pad is the air slide.
Yeah.
From my first use, I noticed it was clean.
Yeah.
I remember first slide I took, I was like, this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I want something that's easy, and I want to, if I'm over sliding, then I just need to adjust my game.
Yep.
Some people think otherwise, you know, they're like over sliding in some pads, but I think this one, it feels just right.
Yep.
And then you also made a couple changes to the air slide this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the air slide was something we launched on the G4 pad. You know, slidability is a very strong talking point for goalies. And the truth of the matter is every pad on the market slides extremely well today,
yeah,
especially on clean ice. And what we wanted to do is not just come out with a new material and say it slides faster than our other pad or this and that. What we wanted to do is start to make a sliding benefit for the goalie that is more consistent throughout the changing ice conditions. So what a lot of goalies will notice is your pads will slide great in warm-ups or at the start of a practice.
Yeah.
But at the end of 90 minutes or the end of a game, especially if you don't get a Zamboni, is the ice is in really, really bad shape. Your pads are not sliding as well as they did in the beginning. And we found through air slide that we were able to create a more consistent slide even though the ice conditions were changing. So we did make some changes to the air slide for G5 compared to G4, most notable being that the binding around it is gone. But we also put some harder foams inside that area of the pad as well.
Okay.
So there's a little bit less compression when you're driving your knee down to the ice and driving your force of your pad down into the ice in a rotation or slide. So it works a lot better. It's a lot smoother, like you said. And I think it's just a little bit more optimized for what we're trying to achieve. So great slidability, not only in the beginning, but throughout the course of a game as well. As a goalie, your money is made in the final minute. It's when the game's on the line. It's when you're most tired in a practice. It's when you need your energy the most. So it's all about trying to conserve that energy for when you need it and when your teammates are going to rely on you.
Yeah, that's something that is actually occurring to me because I was on the ice for I think like an hour and 20 this morning, pretty nonstop, and I didn't have a sliding issue near the end, so I guess that explains it.
That's the goal, yeah.
Yeah. Something that's been kind of hiding in the shadows for a long time, the helmet.
Yeah, the Warrior Goalie mask. This has been a huge project, a huge undertaking from the goalie team. So I definitely have to give credit to those guys first and foremost. A lot of work and a lot of time went into this. It's been upwards of 3 years now by the time this product is available in stores since we started the project. It's something that we started out. I'll tell you a little bit of the kind of timeline of things. Is we are obviously goalies ourselves. We used a number of different masks in the market, and we started to recognize and feel like this is an opportunity for us to make a product that primarily through fit, that we could introduce something new to goalies, give them a new option, a better option than what they've had for the past 2-3 decades even. A lot of the fits in goalie masks haven't changed over the recent years, and a lot of masks have the similar fits to one another. So we wanted to come out and try something and analyze fit and create a new fit for the market. We did that by going out and 3D scanning a lot of the fits that exist and cross-referencing that with anecdotal feedback that we get, where goalies say, this helmet fits me better in the chin, this helmet fits better here, this one has better visibility, and then cross-referencing that with actual 3D scans allowed us to measure that, taking that feedback that goalies give about feel or fit or the chin's to this or the mask doesn't feel good at this point. We could actually physically measure that and sort of create a new fit that encompasses all the good elements and tries to resolve a lot of the current struggles that exist in the fit of a goalie mask today. So fit is first and foremost the most exciting thing about the mask. It's very impressive when people try it on. It's like, how did you get a mold in my face? Is like the question that I got asked a lot when I was showing this to retailers and to pros overseas. So that was exciting. And I think the other thing that goalies will benefit from once they switch into a Warrior mask is the chin mobility. We looked at things a little bit differently than the other major mask makers out there right now. So I think once you throw a chest protector on, you get your jersey on, the chin mobility is only going to benefit you, especially with post play, RVH, looking over your shoulder, and also tracking pucks into your body and into your hands is a super focused thing in goaltending right now. So fit and chin mobility are great. And last but not least, another nice benefit to all the Warrior Goalie masks, whether you're buying a pro mask or a senior mask or a junior or youth, they're all going to come in a padded bag. And they're all going to come with a free dangler that's included with it. So getting a little bit of extra value from the Warrior mask, and then also a better fit and a new sort of theory on chin mobility. So
yeah, I think those are great additions.
Yeah.
What were for a project that's that big and takes that long, what were some of the main hurdles you guys had to overcome, or something that you maybe didn't expect as you were kind of getting later into the project?
I would say with fit. Was the biggest hurdle is, you start by talking to goalies, just, and saying, what do you like? What don't you like? Why? And sometimes you get feedback that's contradictory. So it's trying to decipher, what people are saying with what's actually physically true. Not saying people are liars, but they just may not have the best way to articulate what they're trying to explain. So that's where we took that feedback and took it and applied it to 3D scanning, where there's actual physical measurements, and try to get a straight line truth to the story of what is the most optimum fit and why, and what is it about this fit that makes it feel that way, or how can we improve upon it as well. So I would say the whole fit study in the early days was probably one of the more challenging parts, but collectively as a group we took it head on and spent a lot of detailed time on it.
Was there ever a time you guys maybe didn't think it was going to come out exactly how you wanted?
I would say no. It's once you get to a certain stage, then and you get into the sampling process with it, we were able to start using the product ourselves, and we're just like every other goalie now who's kind of checked it out before it's launched is really impressed. Wow, this is on my head. There's so much work that's gone into this. There's sort of this surreal feeling in that sense, but also the benefit. And we're all different ages at Warrior Goalie, and we're also different sizes. And so all of us trying it on and being wow, this fits me too. And different size goalies were okay, we're definitely onto something here. And then getting to use it in games was really cool too, as a work in progress project. And start to call the guys, hey, I got hit in the head last night, I'm all good, things are fine. I love the mask, I feel like the sight lines are great, or we changed the cage a little bit on this, and I feel like I can see better. It's a evolution, and like I said, upwards of almost 3 years now that we've been doing this. So this has been a huge secret to a lot of people, and a huge surprise probably now since we put some videos out on it. But very, very excited. I think we're definitely onto something new with a new fit.
Awesome. Yeah, and then that kind of brings me to the closing with some fan questions that we put up on our Instagram.
Sure.
From Mikey Sadis. What is the most exciting feature, in your opinion, about any of these lines? What's your most exciting piece?
Difficult to say because there's so many exciting things.
Yeah.
I love the G5 pad. I really do. I've been a G number guy. Personally, I use both, but I'm more of in a big game for me, I would definitely be in a G4 or a G5. So I'm super excited about the G5 pad and the CoverEDGE Plus that we've applied to the pads and gloves as well. It's super hard to ignore the lightness of this new M1 stick.
Yeah.
It's kind of awkward even to use your first skate, but I will say once you go back to a different weight, a heavier stick, it's okay, give me that M1 stick back right now. I miss it already.
Yeah.
So that's been a fun project that we've been working on, and then the mask is
a long time coming. So
it's a long time. Yeah, it's been so long. So I would say what I'm most excited for in 2020 is the mask. Yeah, I think that's going to impress a lot of people. People will be surprised and they'll be happy with how it fits and feels on their head. And they get a lot of benefits with it too, with the bag and the dangler, extra sweatband. I forgot to mention that. Yep. So, I'm excited to see goalies adopt the helmet and get it on the ice.
What sets the G5 apart from the other companies?
I would say the weight is something that we put a huge precedence on years ago. We've had the lightest pad on the market for a number of years now, and we've just continued to create things about the product that make it more durable, more long-lasting, and have more feature benefits to actually, as our tagline is, elevate your game. Mm-hmm. And I think if it doesn't bring a performance element to it, it's not going to be there. So anything you see, any strap, any buckle, any option, it's all for making sure that the product performs not only the way that you want it to, but in a way that's going to benefit you. So that's, I think, what separates us specifically with the G5 pad is that we're innovative with it, but there's always a purpose behind the innovation. It's not a smoke and mirrors thing.
What's your biggest change from the G4 to the G5 line?
Collectively with the pads and the gloves would be Coverage Plus for sure. And just analyzing, our blocker palms haven't changed in a number of years. So changing the blocker palm and changing the board shape as well, completely kind of redesigning that piece. And then the elements to the trapper of bringing the face forward so that you don't have to cock your wrist in a way to make it square to a puck, and then with the pads as well, and just thinking very logically about how the piece of your equipment can be used to benefit you and make you, give you more coverage in the net. So I would say that that's probably the best thing coming.
And then from Haas 0423, with the more surface area or from Coverage Plus, is that going to add any weight to the pad, glove, and blocker?
No. The guys at Warrior have a saying that, innovation is really just an exercise in problem solving. And so you don't necessarily wake up and think like, oh, I'm going to innovate this new idea. It's just we have a benefit in mind. We have a performance element in mind. And then the process of getting to that in the equipment is the innovation in itself. So, we didn't just come out with a G5 pad or blocker or trapper and just make it thicker, therefore making it heavier. Other parts of the pad were, adjusted and maneuvered, or the blocker was maneuvered as well to keep a consistently ultra lightweight product. So, we're not going to do something at the expense of losing another benefit either. So it's how do you gain a benefit and keep the benefits that you already have? It's not, well, we think this one's more important, so goodbye old benefit. So the weight is still ultra light for current Warrior goalies out there. It's going to feel just like home.
Mm-hmm. And then one more fan question that we got was from Finn Plume. Do the non-pro pads feature the Coverage Plus?
Yes. So the pro...
The CoverEDGE,
Yeah, Coverage Plus will be on the pro leg pad, trapper, and blocker, as well as the Senior Plus and the Intermediate.
Have you been seeing any misconceptions about G5 that you wanted to straighten out, or any of the other lines?
No, it's been exciting to see the Coverage Plus come out. We did some videos on our Instagram, and you guys shared them as well. The GIFs of just the concept of it, and trying to get goalies to start thinking about their product and the product that they wear in a different way. In applying that logic of depth in the net back to the equipment that you're using. So that was a great opportunity for us to see like what goalies are thinking. Are they thinking strictly with tape measures when it comes to pads and gloves? Are they open to this concept and seeing how from a G4 to G5 Coverage Plus benefits you, and from a maybe even a competition standpoint, switching to a G5 would benefit you by gaining you more coverage if, the pads you're wearing have a reduced height outer roll. So it's more for us kickstarting that conversation and seeing where goalies are at with it. There's been some misconceptions. Goalies might say for the trapper, well, if I just hold my wrist this way, then I will get Coverage Plus. I don't need it. Well, you can move your wrist that way, but having the Coverage Plus element still on the glove is only going to further enhance that and present the glove even further out towards the puck and cover even more net. So you don't have to bend your wrist, but even if you want to, you still can. It's just going to further help it still. If you want to bring your blocker hand out further, it's not eliminating the need for Coverage Plus. It's just making Coverage Plus that much more effective. So just thinking critically and analytically, I think about Coverage Plus has been something that I've seen goalies come around to and start to understand a little bit more.
So thank you for coming on to the Outer Roll podcast, Kirk Allen.
Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks again to Kirk Allen for coming on to the Outer Roll podcast. Don't forget to check out on our YouTube channel. We have videos of all of the Warrior gear, including the M1 stick, F1 helmet, and the entire G5 line. Like we said, on our YouTube channel, GoalieMonkey. And also follow us on Instagram to check out more of the G5 line coming soon.
Thanks again for tuning in to the Outer Roll podcast. This episode again brought to you by GoalieMonkey on the MonkeySports podcast. Next time you need goalie equipment, head over to GoalieMonkey.com. Use promo code PODCAST10, PODCAST 10, the number 1010, for 10% off your entire order. Some exclusions may apply. We will be back again April 10th for the next episode of the Outer Roll on the MonkeySports podcast. Be sure to stay subscribed. Next week, we will have the Off the Ice podcast brought to you by Hockey Monkey. We sit down with Canadian national team player Sarah Nurse, discuss her career, her relationship in hockey, the gear she trusts, all that good stuff. So be sure to stay subscribed. Tune into that episode next week. And until next episode, be sure to wash your hands.